Reminder to our bowling fans that flash photography and the signing of autographs is strictly prohibited during competition. We also ask that you silence those cell phones to prevent any distractions to the athletes. This week, the field of play is that tiled area that belongs to athletes and authorized personnel only. Please do not enter the field of play for any reason. As a reminder, BowlTV.com is the exclusive live streaming home of the PWBA. Please do not live stream from your personal device. All right, athletes, your arrows are up. You have a full set of pins. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a great send-off for round 3 of the PWBA Lincoln Open? Good luck, ladies.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to round of 32, the PWBA Lincoln Open. Live from Sun Valley Lanes. In Lincoln, Nebraska. We have advanced the field by 32 players, the top 32. Led by Jordan Richard. Jay Rich led the way, plus 316 after 16 games of qualifying. Valerie Bercier was second at plus 229. She shot 299. Last night, it was game 6 last night. And you can see the video, actually, of that on PWBA Social, but definitely check out the Instagram video if you haven't. As the 10-pin was kicked by the 6, and it slid from the 10-pin spot into about halfway between the 9-pin spot and the 10-pin spot for $299. And John Lucido, who tends to offer a 300-game bonus when a tour event is happening at his center. This morning, he said, you know what? I'm going to present you with $299.50. John, always a good individual. So congrats again to Valerie. Very nice presentation this morning. And a great game, certainly last night. Rounding out the top 5 was Danielle McEwen, back in business. Is D-Mac looking like herself? Not that she wasn't, but I know she was not happy with her first couple of weeks, although she did make the cut last week. Danielle with very high standards, as she should. She's one of the best in the world for a reason. And looking to follow up a very nice finish last week. She finished 10th, already starting the day in 3rd. In 4th, Sandra Gongora from Mexico. We talked about Gongora yesterday a little bit as well. Did not like the first 2 weeks. There were some struggles for her, certainly. And she's got an opportunity to turn all of that around. Well, she has in one way, and that is by making the round of 32. The next way certainly would be to advance to the round of 12. Erin McCarthy is 5th at plus 160. Shayna Ung 6th at plus 155. Julia Bond is 7th at plus 133. Liz Johnson 8th at plus 131. Jazreel Tan 9th at plus 96. Verity Crawley is 10th at plus 95. Cut number last night was Brianna Cote of Red Rock, Arizona at plus 24. Just missing the number last night, Jasmine Snell, former Nebraska Cornhusker, at plus 23. Justine Falbo just missed it by 2 pins at plus 22, the sister of Tania. Katie Ann Saab-Schroeder, another former Husker, at plus 17. Olivia Sandham struggled a little bit last night. Dropped to 36 and just missing at plus 10. Ashley Galante had a chance in the final game. She finished 37th at plus 4. On our featured pairs this morning, Shannon O'Keefe along with Bernice Lim and Daria Payok. Diana Zavyalova, New Wave Finn, and and Josie Barnes. So far, so good here after the third frame hiccup for O'Keefe, the reigning PWBA Player of the Year, last week's champion at the Twin Cities Open. Gonna know how the story goes week to week with lane conditions. Scores 38 feet this week, 21.5 mils, very flat pattern, and certainly presented some lower scoring days. Last night was a bit of a grind for a lot of players, as Friday nights tend to be. A lot of adjustments generally made, of course, from round one. Players tend to be further left. For the night block also, which plays certainly a big key, and it did last night. Less bowlers today, so we'll see how things tend to play out on this pattern. Couple questions in the chat. Let me get to those here. As we watch Payant go through the nose. Sorry about that. New Way Finn. Saw some players giving the gutter a try in practice, but don't see many out and about. Daria was one of those players, giving it a few shots. Bernice Slim, decent reaction out there, although not playing directly up the gutter, but that looked to be more of a 8 to 3-ish type area. If you're too far left early, it's certainly going to spell some troubles as the day goes on, and it could spell trouble even right then and there. All of Team Singapore, all 6 members that they have competing in their 5 to 6 event stint here on tour, made the round of 12. First time that's happened here this season, and it may be the first time it's happened before. A break there for Shannon. I want to say hello to my man, Brand Houghton. We kind of like virtually already said hello, but we kind of know what we're already thinking, basically, at this point. Brand gets his prep, we execute, and then we're off and running. And sometimes there's no communication necessary. But hello, Brand. I'll talk to him momentarily. Chris, James, Yvonne, Nate, Sal, Kathy from the merchandise booth checking in. Uh-oh. Boom. Nicely done early for Bernice Lim Hello, Mark. Michael? Osan, Brenda? Brenda, you can check out the archived Hall of Fame ceremony, USBC Hall of Fame, in the archived events channel. It is in the USBC convention playlist. Which I have now renamed to say USBC Convention / USBC Hall of Fame Ceremony. So you can know exactly which playlist it is. This is the last video in that playlist, so just click the arrow to the right. Well, you know what? Let's do some more editing. Why not? Why not? Let's see. And just so it helps you, Brenda, now the Hall of Fame ceremony video is the first one in the playlist. Al checking in early. It's nighttime over in Hong Kong. Bart checking in. Brent Prentice checking in from Cedar Vale. Judy. Mark, I try. I do try sometimes. No, I try all the time. Shannon O'Keefe, good start to her day, 218. Of course, the pace will quicken just a touch here. 3 on a pair, and there'll be 1 cross with 2. And we'll see who can make a run. Verity Crawley made a very nice run. Crawley specifically went, she shot 1555 or minus 45 for the first 8 games. A shot there from Pyle. Lynn with that nice break. First shot in the 10th. Turn that into 204. Pyle now trying to remain even here through 1 game. In this block, 8 games. And we've got some pairs already complete with game 1. There you see Pyle. Dari is what the kids may call left. She is left. That may have been a shot just to try it in that point. I didn't see where she was in the first shot of the 10th. I just saw the reaction and the end result. So 186 for Pyle. And we are off to game number 2 already. That's a good sign. Good morning, Terry. Hello, Lucy. Robert, we'll have to ask ZZ about that. I'm not sure what she had to eat. I'll tell you what, though. I probably look the same way. In fact, I probably look that way right now. Hope's dad, Mr. Gramley. Hope all is well. It's okay to look a little sleepy on Saturday mornings. It is the nature of what we do across every facet. Whether you're bowling, running the tournament, part of the staff, streaming, ball repping. All right, already a quick built-in break here. And there'll be a few more of those throughout the day as far as breaks are concerned. They won't be too long, though, but we'll have a couple. So speaking of food, I didn't get a chance to order any, so I might go do that real quick. What's up, Don? In the building? All right, back with you in a second here on Bowl TV. Game 2 underway. Julia Bond, Liz Johnson, Sherry Tan. It's a pretty good cross for both players, but especially for Julia Bond. Someone who, obviously a rookie, but with some experience, 3-time now Team USA member. Of course, recently just graduated from Nebraska last week. Be able to cross with arguably the greatest. Sherry Tan, someone you got to watch out for. I think she might be the only lefty here in the field. And I say that because you always have to be paying attention to her. We'll get a chance to see what Verity Crawley is. And I never did finish that story, by the way, about Verity Crawley. Just so you two, or you guys are aware. Verity went minus 45 in round number 1, and then she went plus 140. Plus 140 last night, round 2. And that includes a 158 game that she shot at the end last night. And there's some trouble. Crawley along with Summer Jasmine and Jazrael Tan. All right, let's find some scores here. First game in the books, Jordan Richard 234. That gets her to plus 350. Sandra Gongora shot 276. SG is not playing around this week. I always try to find time to make a few notes if I have a pretty good idea of who I think might make the step ladder. You just don't have time to prepare like you would normally would. So I kind of try to keep mental notes and jot a few things down. Like at this moment, for example, I'm anticipating that Jordan Richard is probably going to be on the show in one way or another, whether if it's not the top seed, which it certainly looks like it. That's the way she's headed. But Sandra Gongora with 276 to start. Right now she's going strike, spare, double. She's on lane 20 if you want to check it out. Danielle McEwen is tied for third at plus 192. And I know we've got another full round to go, of course. But some things you have to kind of think ahead. Aaron McCarthy is fifth at plus 147. McEwen and Bercier tied at 192. Julia Bond is sixth at plus 134. Mitch Johnson seventh at plus 130. Shayna Ung eighth at plus 123. Shannon O'Keefe is ninth at plus 93. Daphne Tan 10th at plus 90. Liz Culkin 11th plus 87. Verity Crawley is 12th plus 83. Cindy Jane New Way Finn tied for 13th at plus 79. Kenneth, would you mind elaborating a little bit on that? Are you referring to the centers that you've kind of watched so far this season? Or just kind of personal experience, maybe you've bowled here, etc.? I would tend to lean with you on that. But I feel that there was, maybe it wasn't Cleveland. What center was that? Well, I guess there was only two choices. Terrible break for Gongora. Just left at 4-6. Good shot there from Tan as she doubles up. Yeah, hitting the nose. There is not a high probability of breaking down a split. But the pins do often fly here as well, though. They tend to bounce well. Speaking of not breaking down splits, I just watched Danielle McEwen not break down a split. Yeah, I feel you on that, Ken. Like I said, I can get with you on that point. I'm just trying to remember if it was Cleveland or the Twin Cities, but there was one so far of the two previous centers. If you were flush on the nose, you were not breaking down a split. I could be thinking of this based on what I saw yesterday. It all starts to run together at some point. Summer Jasmine. Very nice shot there for Summer. Talked a little bit about Summer yesterday. Making it a back-to-back round of 32s. Jody Westner making that run last night. She is 3 for 3 in the round of 32s this year. Look now, but Sherry Tan with 4 in a row. Sherry is 25th at plus 34. And certainly can make up some ground. She could start here. Five in a row for Tan. Verity Crawley, meanwhile, can only get to 197. And Verity here would go 188, 190. That'd be she can get to at the moment. Good shot there to start this 10th frame. Talked to a couple reps here this morning. Just talked to Sean Ryan, and players certainly looking to get left. So I kind of mentioned that a little bit. Wasn't sure how early. We are starting to see, for example, Daria was on game 1, that last shot in the 10th frame. She was sliding around 30. A lot of players sliding around 30. Looking for score. .248. Shayna Ung. Nice job over on 21 and 22. Liz Johnson. Well, LJ is going to have a little work to do. She'll drop a few pins. She started with 199. Been told similar to last week. Certain portions of the house, and this is not uncommon for any bowling center. But this little area that we're in, actually maybe even to the left of that, I believe. Open frame in the 10th there for McCarthy. 204. And they're all done on 21 and 22. If you're watching, Liz gives a different ball a try. That one had some friction. 184. Julia Bond just making some shots here early. 2:01 to start. And that strike will get her to the 2-0s. Beautiful shot there from Bond. Knew it. She knew it when she let that one go. And she's got an opportunity to go plus 15. In 2 games. That includes her 2:01 in game 1 this morning. Live from in Sun Valley. All right, we're off to game 3. We're rocking and rolling this morning. Game 3 set to go. Appreciate everyone tuning in, all the kind words. as well. We're all here to watch bowling and watch the PWBA Tour. If you are not, well, can't tell you anything else about it. Back in a moment here on Bowl TV. Game 2 scores are upon us. As Game 3 bowling is underway, and we get a chance to see Sandra Gongora, who's made a nice move to the top of the standings, as we mentioned. 276 out the gates this morning, 182, and then a tough break there on 23 and 24. She is joined by Danielle McEwen and Shaolin Zulkifli. Daphne Tan, Erin McCarthy, and Shayna Ung on 25 and 26. All right, scores. Richard plus 341. Gongora plus 245. First and second, respectively. Valerie Bercier is third, plus 195. Danielle McEwen is fourth at plus 184. Shayna Ung is fifth at plus 171. Erin McCarthy is sixth at plus 151. Julia Bond is seventh at plus 148. Liz Johnson is eighth at plus 114. Alicia Current ninth after she shot 278. So EC out there trying to make a run here. And we didn't see a lot of 270 games. There were a couple. We've already seen two in the first two games here this morning. Sin Lee Jane, plus 92 in 10th. New Wave Finn 11th at plus 88. Bernie Slim and Shannon O'Keefe tied for 12th at plus 86. Katie Thornton and Verity Crawley, the coaching staff for Savannah College of Art and Design, they are tied for 14th at plus 79. Liz Culkin 16th at plus 78. A couple 190s here for Culkin. A couple 2-0s to start for Josie Barnes. She's 17th at plus 75. Excuse me. Let's see. Looks like I missed some questions. Barb, there's probably a small range between 14 pounds and 15 pounds in regards to ball weight. I know there were a few players who still threw 16. Some have made moves down to 14. For example, Brianna Cote went from 15 to 14. Sydney Brummett actually went from 14 to 15 recently. So I would say the majority would be in the 14 to 15 range. That would be the one I'd have to check on Missy. I feel that comes up a lot too. Joan, as Larry mentioned, all times, or excuse me, the calendar is based on Eastern time, but your rounds today are 2 p.m. and 5:30. Round of 12 at 2 Central, step ladder at 5:30 Central tonight, or today. Folks, you'll want to be on the lookout, excuse me, for how far left the players will end up getting in this round. It's for some, not all, but some already pretty significant. Here in game 3, Dasha Kovalova. 3-bagger, 8 spare, 8 spare, 8 spare, and a strike in the 7th. What a terrible break there for Jordan Richard over on 21. Kind of goes back to the point that Kenneth was talking about earlier. If you go through the nose, there's a high probability that you will not break down a split. Gongora with 2 splits here. She's sliding about, 32-ish. Gets them all to fall finally, exclaiming. She has struck a couple times on this left lane. Right lane has been a bit troublesome. Yesterday we saw Danielle last night on the fresh in round 2, and I believe she did it a little bit in round 1. Start with your thing. And play the outside portion of the lane. She's around 3 or 4. Oh. Gongora getting the 10 out. This game so far has just this day. Different look on the players' faces, some of them. I mean, players really want to win this event. Obviously, it's a tour title, but a lot of the players really, I would say all of the players really enjoy the venues we go to, and that creates, some additional kind of want. I want to win this because it's at this particular venue. I love it. Like Cedarville Lanes, for example. And I'm sure players now love Yorktown Lanes, which was our first event host, and the greater Cleveland area. Excellent hospitality there, and always the same here with John Lucido and his staff. Well, Kim's point is that one's off camera technically, but you saw it if you did on the left side of your screen. Bercier could not hit the 410 out, and the 10 wiggled and wiggled and wobbled and wobbled. Man. Game 3 is really looking a touch weird out there. And this left lane. Which had been the good lane for Gongora. Balls just don't seem to want to lay off for Gongora if she misses right early. Don't forget about live scoring, folks. PWBA.com/live. There's a live scoring link along with all the results that you need. If you want to refer to the lane graph or the lane pattern, you can. It's also posted there as well, along with a pairing sheet, so you can see which players are on what lanes if you'd like to check them out and watch them on Bowl TV. This is one of those games where SG knows she had 220, 230 out there. Wow. That facial expression said it all about that shot from Danielle. She said it all herself. Facial expressions say a lot. I've learned that about myself. I am, I'm good for some facial expressions. When I think I'm, not making any faces or expressing any displeasure about something, it's all on my face. Next week's the USBC Queens. It is in Wichita, Kansas at North Rock Lanes. Practice kicks off on May 15th. On Tuesday, a lot of the players will be departing. They'll be heading out to Wichita some today, most tomorrow. About a 4.5 hour, or excuse me, about a 4-hour drive from Lincoln to Wichita. A lot of players actually flew into Wichita, drove to Lincoln for the event this week. And then obviously we'll drive back to Wichita, save some costs, both airfare and sounds like some rental car fees as well. That's one thing, and you already know some of the things in regards to how to be cost efficient and thinking about those kind of things. Because you never want to, you always want to be able to save as much money as you can. Big three-bagger here from Gongora. Back-to-back opens for Zulkifli. She finishes with 190. But talking to players, you may learn a thing or two about, cost savings. All done on 25 and 26. 196 for Ung. 209 for Tan. McCarthy, 176. See if SG is throwing the same ball. No, she'll give a different one a shot. Oh no, that one looked like the one potentially. The good news is for SG, she's in really good shape early. A couple of shots here for Danielle in this back half. As the players would say, they're trying to get the pins or get the ball to go through the pins the right way. Those last couple of shots definitely not going the right way for Danielle. There's some news and notes to be on the lookout for next week. Those of you, I'm sure, know what the Queens is about, but the tiara is on the line next week in Wichita. North Rock Lane's great facility. Last time the PWBA was in Wichita was pretty sure 2017. There'll be a little spike in competition points to be earned. So, for example, a standard event win gets you 15,000 points. Next week at the Queens, the winner will receive 25,000 points. I'm speaking of competition points, the PWBA points list, which is what dictates and determines all of our postseason awards. Joined by a couple of new crosses here. Missy Parkin, Alicia Current, and Deandra Asbeatty. Now on 23 and 24. Boy. Man, we are really in danger of leaving some really weird stuff. Golick just left a 5-7. I didn't even get a chance to say that she was on the lanes. Jody is with Dasha Kovalova. See some good stuff in the chat in regards to the players and their demeanors and approachability. And, everything that I've seen in that chat is could certainly attest for. Most are very eager, actually all are very eager to interact, take photos. That the only thing I stress and tell people, and I just really be honest about it, is just like in any other sport, just kind of don't rush them after they've just completed a block, or certainly not during competition, because that's not allowed, certainly, but you kind of just feel it out. You know, watch the reactions, see if they seem to be okay. Maybe give them an ask. They still probably won't say no, but you know, kind of be respectful in that sense. You know, our sport is very it's an open sport, if you will, meaning, you know, there's generally not a barrier, so to speak, right? You know, you can't jump on you can technically kind of jump on the court here if you want it. Can't jump on the court at the NBA playoffs. Can't go on the field at the World Series and ask someone for an autograph kind of thing, you know? I think you know what I'm trying to say. So this situation is a little different. Players are right there. Mark, El Paso, I really enjoyed my time in El Paso. Went there for the Open Championships a few years back. That city, to me, is very underrated. A lot of history. A lot of history. I believe I've gotten one bowling-related autograph, actually two, but one that I kind of sought out. And actually, I don't even know if I did that, but it was 2004. Fall of 2004, maybe it was the fall of 2003. But it was at St. Clair Bowl, which is actually where the McKendree Bearcats actually practice in Fairview Heights, Illinois. I was at college at the time at Lindenwood, about 45 to an hour away across the Missouri border. And the PBA was there, and I believe it was the final event at St. Clair, I think. Nonetheless, Walter Ray was it still is, favorite player. And saw him, I had a program, saw him and asked for The old signature. He happily obliged, and I actually found that program a few weeks back cleaning up. My mom had moved a few months back, I think late last year at this point. And so there were, several old, boxes and stuff of mine that I didn't really get a chance to get through, but I had to move them out. So then I brought them to my house. Still didn't get a chance to go through them, so I started doing that last couple weeks and found that program. There was one signature in it, and it was Walter Ray's. It is game 4, and we talked about being left on the lanes. Wei Finn is in front of the ball return. Let's get into some scores here. Jay Rich still doing her thing. All right, back to Jordan Richard. Jay Rich still doing her thing, plus 349. Gongora has utilized that 276. She's gone 182, 188 afterwards. I tell you, if Sandra was able to to find a way to break down a couple of splits that she's left, especially the game that we saw on 23 and 24, and she did the same over on 19 and 20. She might be at plus 300 and really flirting with the #1 seed right now, #1 spot. Valerie Bercier is third at plus 190. Danielle McEwen fourth at plus 175. Shayna Ung is fifth at plus 167. Julia Bond is sixth at plus 134. Erin McCarthy is seventh at plus 127. Liz Colkin is eighth at plus 113. Liz Johnson is ninth at plus 111. Alicia Curran is 10th at plus 91. Sin Lee Jane is 11th at plus 82. Daphne Tan is 12th at plus 79. On the outside looking in currently, Sherry Tan at plus 75. Verity Crawley is 14th at plus 71. Deandra Asbeatty in the mix here, 15th at plus 67. Shannon O'Keefe is 16th at plus 66. She is tied actually for that spot with Lindsey Boomershine. All right, shot there, Missy Parkin. She'll take that break. Let's see where Missy Parkin is. Missy tied for 26 right now, plus 8 with 3 players or 2 others. That includes Stephanie Schwartz and Jazriel Tan. Asbeatty. 3, 6, 9, 10 for D. But in the 7th now for Asbeatty. Daria Pyle nearly left to 7-10. That is over on 19 and 20. Of course, we do have 4 additional channels. Lanes 11 through 14, lanes 15 through 18, lanes 19 through 22, and lanes 27 through 30. Game 5 is upcoming. Oh, I see a string. I see a string of strikes. It is on 27 and 28, and it is Jordan Richard. It's going to take a lot for Jay Rich at this moment to not have the #1 seed. I know it's early. You don't count the chickens before they hatch, you know, but I'm not trying to hop in your cool chat combo, Brenda and Kenneth, but I do feel that I've seen, maybe in conjunction with someone else, Kelly have a clinic or at least be a part of one. I could be completely wrong on that, but I thought I saw something like that, for example, last year. Maybe not. Who's going to win the PWBA Lincoln Open? That is the question. Right now, Jordan Richards certainly has her eye on the #1 seed. Jordan would be gunning for her second PWBA title. It would be her 6th career stepladder finals appearance in just one full year or one full season. Actually, not even a full season. She missed 3 events last year. Shot there for a current in the 10th frame, trying to get to 197. As Beatty trying to get to 188 with a strike. Parkin split in the 10th, 175. Sal, you are right. Stranger things have happened. I've seen them. I know it. I know what can happen. But today I would just be shocked if it did. Wow, what a leave over on, that was the 248, the 246, 810 that Wade just left. That was interesting. unfortunately results in a 151 game. All done here on 23 and 24. And 25 and 26 is complete as well. We are moving right along this morning, ladies and gentlemen, as we head on over to game number 5. Let us take you to break with a reminder about one of the dope channels on BowlTV.com, and that is indeed the Vault. Of course, we've unlocked the treasure chest of thousands and hundreds of newly digitized historical telecasts. I guess thousands would be an extreme exaggeration. But there are several telecasts that are historical. PWBA, certainly, Team USA, World Teams Challenge. Hundreds of hours of historical footage for you to watch. The PWBA classic shows also coincide with Jim Goodwin's blog. It goes directly with the Vault and really documents his time on the PWBA tour in previous years and some of the key moments from respective shows. Really good stuff. I encourage you to check that out. Inside the Vault on BowlTV.com. Bowling lives here. We're going to Game 5. We'll be back in a moment. My name is Emil Williams Jr. You're watching the PWBA Lincoln Open on Bowl TV. All right, back with you here. What did I miss? Ashley Scott back in the chat. Hope you're feeling better. That was a good question, Mark Holland. Anyone else find it difficult to have a favorite PWBA pro? I could see why that would be difficult. Of course, I don't get a favorite in my job. They're all my favorites. But I only know one person. No, it's not true. But I do know that Don, it's not hard for Don in his defense. He had a PWBA Player of the Year daughter. I don't know, and I assume Derek, and I just based this on our interactions yesterday, but I know Culkin, I don't see a lot of people with the last name Culkin, so I assume that there was some. There it is, little sis, bam, right there. There it is. All you got to do is keep reading sometimes, and the information is right there. Keep that in mind, good people of Earth. Reading is important. Brian, totally okay with that too? I tell you what, man. I don't know when I can't keep my calendar straight on when the next World Championships is, but I'm looking forward to it. All right, I come back, and we've got Liz Culkin. We've got Lindsay Boomershine. Uh-oh. Did I throw my pairing sheet away? I think I threw my pairing sheet away. I hate it when I do that. We got Stephanie Schwartz, Sin Lee Jane. People always ask, specifically players from Malaysia, Singapore, for example, because they're consistent. Don't forget about Jody Westner, too, on 23 and 24. They are consistent competitors on tour. And why perhaps their names are spelled one way or etc. And it's the surname for certain players, not all, is first. But they do certainly have first names that they are referenced by or go by. For example, Lee Jane or Jane is what often as she goes by. If anyone wants to call her first name or talk to her, call her Jane or Lee Jane. Well, if we were to write it, we would write Sin Lee Jane. Same thing with Singapore's New Wei Fin. First name is really Wei. Everyone calls her Wei because that's her first name. But if we were to write it, we would write it New Wei Fin. That was neither here nor there. It just felt like an opportunity to share that with you. Well, Wilfredo, that's a good question. I can't say I've kept track of that, but there haven't been very many. That's for sure. In fact, it's very possible that the feature pairs may not be the kindest pairs in the building today. Some of the scores that we've seen, there's been a couple 270s. They certainly haven't been on 23, 24, 25, or 26. Sometimes it's really cool what you can learn. And I learned that in 2016. It was my first time meeting both players from Singapore and Malaysia. So we also had to get an understanding of